Welcome to Best of NWF's Raw Aftershow, August 31st, 2015. Tonight, Raw was Sting from beginning to end. To open the show, we have Sting coming out giving a passionate promo, calling out Seth Rollins, saying he isn't as good as Triple H, planting the seeds of the inevitable breakup of the Rollins Authority era. Sting, he's coming back. He's 50-something years old, and he's pretty much amazed me with his physique, his passion. I think once you're in front of 15, 20,000 people, it really livens you up compared to his run in TNA, and I'm really excited to see this. I wouldn't think a 56-year-old Sting would excite me anymore, but wow, he's really bringing it, and I can't wait for Night of Champions. Next up, we have Rusev versus Ziggler in a rematch from SummerSlam. Now, the SummerSlam match, like I said before, ended in that double countout, which was kind of a joke. I'm not sure if they're trying to get all the feuds without titles out of the way so they can start building the Night of Champions, but it was nice to see Ziggler pick up the win by DQ. And it was pretty interesting because I don't see where this feud is going further throughout the show. You have your issues with Lana and Ziggler and Summer Rae, and hopefully this just ends and we can kind of move on. Rusev, I think, has gotten a lot better than a year ago, being the Russian gimmick. Ziggler, I feel like it's put up or shut up time now, and I really want him to get away from the silliness and get in a more serious feud with someone. Maybe a Stardust or something like that. Hell, maybe a Ryback. I don't know. I think there's a lot more that you could do with Ziggler now that he re-signed his contract, but I would really be happy if this feud came to an end. After that, we have the Beat the Clock Challenge, the first one of the night, and we have Nikki Bella coming out, and I don't know about anyone else. When I see Nikki Bella come to the ring, I'm pretty depressed. When I see her carrying the title, it makes me sad for all the hardworking women of NXT that Nikki Bella is somehow the gatekeeper to keep everyone else out of the division. So the first Beat the Clock match was Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox. I pretty much figured Alicia Fox has no challenge in this match. We have Becky Lynch picking up the victory and setting a pretty good time. So we have to see later in the show who can actually beat that, if they can beat that. After that, we have pretty much the sleeper match of the whole show. And by sleeper match, I mean putting me to sleep. We have Ryback versus Big Show. I'm not sure why they have this. Maybe they wanted people to have a bathroom break. Nobody wants to see Big Show versus Ryback. Ryback, I feel like he needs to have a strong feud, maybe against a Rusev, maybe against a Ziggler, but he needs a single opponent to kind of go against. Big Show's not giving him any favors. The Miz isn't helping him at all. I feel like this needs to end right away. So Night of Champions, he has an actual credible opponent that is one person. After that, we have our next Beat the Clock Challenge match. We have Brie Bella versus Charlotte. Now, Brie Bella, as much as she's gotten better in the ring, when you're standing next to Charlotte, it's pretty embarrassing. She just does not look the part, and you'd figure with your husband being Daniel Bryan, maybe he could show you a thing or two, but she really hasn't been able to step it up with the NXT women coming in. So Charlotte picks up the victory there with 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is a pretty short time. So it'll be interesting to see later in the show if anyone can actually beat that time. After that, we have another SummerSlam rematch, Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Now, surprised that they did this, and this is what gave me my first indication of you're trying to blow off these feuds before Night of Champions, because if every title is being defended, there's going to be a couple of these feuds that aren't going to make it to the pay-per-view. KO picked up the victory at SummerSlam. I was thinking Cesaro might actually pull this off, but I think we're going to set up a storyline of how Cesaro just can't beat Kevin Owens, so the ultimate payoff match where Cesaro ultimately defeats KO. After that, we have a pretty creepy Wyatt promo trying to really introduce Braun Strowman into the Wyatt family, and Bray Wyatt kept it shorter than he typically does, and when Strowman actually hit the mic, he had a menacing voice. So it'll be interesting to see what he has going forward. And after that, his match with Dean Ambrose, it was one brutal affair. I mean, one-sided. I don't even think that can describe it fully, because there was no offense at all from Dean Ambrose. You have Roman Reigns ringside trying to help Dean Ambrose, and ends up being a DQ win for Strowman. And after that, Strowman destroyed both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they get a third member. I think it'll be too reminiscent of the Shield, so I'm not sure how they're going to get out of this. Like I said before, there's no title involved in this match, so I don't know if maybe this is one of the only feuds that actually get to be on Night of Champions without a championship on the line. After that, we have another Beat the Clock challenge. We have Paige versus Sasha Banks, the Boss. Now, when this match was announced, I was thinking maybe Sasha could pull off the best time. We've seen Paige versus Nikki 100 times, and Paige hasn't been able to beat her, so I was really hoping she wasn't going to pick up the better time than Charlotte. Now, this match was going pretty strong at first with different pinning combinations. Ultimately, ended up being not even a victory for either woman, because Sasha Banks was pulled out of the ring. There was less than 10 seconds left. Paige tried to get her back in the ring, and she didn't beat the time. So next month at Night of Champions, we have Charlotte versus Nikki for the Divas title. I'm really hoping Nikki does not come out of this with the title. I think everyone is pretty tired of seeing her, and I think she's killing the Divas revolution by being the gatekeeper, like I said earlier. It's not doing anyone any favors, and it's not helping the division at all. She's a good bad guy, but I think that time is over, and it's time for the new blood to really come to the top. After that, we have kind of a throwback match. We have the Dudleys versus the New Day. Now, the New Day have definitely been more entertaining of late. They've been doing some very interesting things as far as coming out to the ring. Xavier Woods has been great, being on ringside, just yelling and chanting and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Sometimes it does take a little bit away from the match because the cameras keep focusing on him instead of the action in the ring. But all in all, they're definitely a lot more entertaining than they were when they first started. You have the Dudley Boys. I'm happy to see them back. I don't think the tag team division necessarily needed them at this time, because you have a lot of strong tag teams. You know, you have the Primetime Players that should get their rematch, but you have the Dudleys going in there beating the New Day tonight, and it was just pretty awkward. I feel like I don't want to see another multi-tag title match. I mean, I feel sorry for the Primetime Players, but I'd rather see the Dudleys versus the New Day or the Primetime Players versus the New Day. I don't want to see a three-way tag team match at all. So Dudley's picking up the victory, which probably means they're at least part of the number one contenders. Like I said, Primetime Players do have a rematch, so it's going to be very awkward getting out of this one as well. Now, to cap off the show, we have Seth Rollins coming out to call out Sting. You know, he wants his statue back. He wants to be immortalized in bronze. You know, Rollins keeps, you know, kind of combating what Sting was saying earlier in the show, saying that Triple H was better than him. So, of course, Rollins is saying that he's better than Triple H. Stephanie McMahon comes to the ring, and which I think was kind of weird, because I feel like Triple H probably should have came out there. You know, Stephanie tells him not to talk about her husband. You know, they kind of reaffirm that they're part of the Authority, and Cena's music hits. I don't know if there's any worse sound in the world for a wrestling fan that's over the age of 14 than hearing John Cena's music come out when something really exciting can happen. I think everyone was waiting for Sting to come out, and we have John Cena. John Cena gives his typical corny promo about how Seth Rollins is better than that. He ultimately invokes his rematch clause for the U.S. title, so Seth Rollins will be pulling double duty at Night of Champions, defending both the U.S. title for John Cena and then also the WWE Championship against Sting. Now, John Cena music hits, he goes to walk up the ramp, and I'm figuring Raw is over. Sting music hits, and they kind of just stand on the ramp. It was pretty anticlimactic considering what we had last week with the big surprise of Sting. Looking forward, it'll be interesting to see how much Sting we actually see. I feel like less is more, but you definitely have to build him up as a credible threat, being 56 years old against a 29-year-old champion. It'll be interesting to see how they can put that all together moving forward. So, for Best of NWF, that's it for our Raw After Show. Catch us on Wednesday night for our NXT After Show. Catch you later.